Eva Marie is the winner in New York. Music. This is where I might give birth. Eva Marie Saint has an odd record at almost 101. She is more than just the oldest Oscar winner still alive. She is the only living person who understands why half of Hollywood vanished in the 1950s. She saw friends ruin each other for professional reasons. She witnessed one phone call and careers. Overnight, she lost $100,000 in movie deals. But she never went bankrupt and never revealed who she was. And she's still here now, decades later. On July 4, 1924, Eva Marie Saint was born in Newark, New Jersey. She sounded like she was destined for greatness on that day. Her parents were modest, sincere, and serene Quakers. Her mother was a teacher, and her father was a businessman. Later on, Eva Marie's performance would have the same poised fortitude. She wasn't ostentatious or noisy. They grounded her. She was authentic. Her family relocated to Delmore in New York when she was still a young girl. There were less than 4,000 residents in this tranquil small village close to Albany at the time. Eva Marie studied diligently, kept her head down, and had no aspirations of becoming an actress while attending Bethlehem Central High School. She received her degree in 1942, just as World War II was breaking out. Many of her peers immediately enlisted in the military. Despite the seriousness and uncertainty of the situation, she maintained her focus. Her voice caught the attention of the teachers. It was warm, assured, and unambiguous. Even then, there was something unique. She went to Bowling Green State University in Ohio after her older sister. She initially aspired to follow in her mother's footsteps and become a teacher. There was a murmur of change around campus. Because so many men were away fighting, women, there had to shoulder additional responsibilities throughout the war. As just another student attempting to find her place, Eva Marie blended in. Until one night at her dorm, that is, at Schatzel Hall. It took place. She was singing, "I'm Just a Girl from Oklahoma Who Can't Say No" while she was playing with friends in her pajamas. It was merely for amusement. However, something changed. Her pals witnessed it. She did more than just sing along foolishly. It was genuine, vibrant, charming, and honest. Word spread. Eldon T. Smith, one of her lecturers, learned about it. He found her. He encouraged her to try out for plays after noticing a rare combination of composure, intelligence, and passion. She was hesitant at first, but he persisted. She gave in slowly. Everything changed at that point. She changed her major from education to theater. "Whatever you want to do, honey, just do your best," her father advised her. So she did. Following her graduation in 1946, Eva Marie made her way directly to New York City. Just faith, no waiting, no backup plan. She actually began at the bottom. She started out as an NBC page. She watched everything, got coffee, and offered studio tours. She was modeling and taking acting jobs anywhere she could at the same time. She juggled day jobs and little radio parts while working non-stop. She was learning, observing, and waiting for her opportunity, even though it wasn't glamorous. Then, one day in 1949, an unforeseen event occurred. She was strolling through the Rockefeller Center subway. Jeffrey Hayden, a male, took notice of her. It was more than her appearance. Her movements and the black modeling portfolio she carried drew his attention. At the bottom, her name, Eva Marie Saint, was inscribed in gold. He couldn't stop thinking about her. They conversed. They had lunch as she didn't drink coffee. He directed television shows. She had a dream she was pursuing. They clicked at once. His first words are still scrawled in her 1949 date book. "Jeff will remain here." He was, too. The date of their marriage was October 28, 1951. Hayden passed away in 2016, after 65 years of marriage. They were the only lasting love story in a community full of breakups. Eva Marie had already established herself by the time she wed Hayden. She was everywhere, and live TV was exploding. She played almost 25 roles in a short period of time. Known as the Helen Hayes of television, she was regarded as one of the greatest. She had no desire to become famous. She pursued the truth in every situation. When Eva Marie Saint first came into the public eye, she was 30 years old. Her name wasn't well known. She hadn't even started acting in movies yet. However, all changed in 1954 when she was given a chance by director Elia Kazan in On the Waterfront. She played Idie Doyle, a woman torn between love and sorrow, opposite Marlon Brando. The narrative was unvarnished. It demonstrated how corruption and mob domination dominated Hoboken, New Jersey's docks. On paper, Saint had a little role, but her performance made all the difference. Her honesty was lauded by critics. She made no effort to appear tough or glitzy. She was authentic. Despite receiving a meager $7,500 for the part, On the Waterfront went on to become a huge blockbuster. The movie received 12 Oscar nominations and took home 8 of them, including Best Picture. For a brief period, it seemed as though she had the entire world at her feet when Hollywood suddenly recognized her as a budding star. The Oscars were held on March 30, 1955. Saint was 9 months along in her pregnancy. Jeffrey Hayden, her husband, pleaded with her not to leave, but she persisted. Her swelling feet were concealed behind the hem of her elegant black dress. The room fell silent for a moment when Frank Sinatra announced her name as the Best Supporting Actress. She then got to her feet, stumbled a little, and made her way to the stage. She grinned and gave the Oscar a kiss. Then she said it, "I may have the baby right here." Although the audience chuckled, her subsequent remarks startled everyone. She expressed her gratitude to the New York shoremen. Their stories were important. She added, "Hollywood should tell more stories like theirs," she suggested. It was supposed to be sincere, kind, and perhaps even honorable. However, since the House Un-American Activities Committee was keeping an eye on everyone in 1955, bringing up labor, workers, or class conflict may jeopardize one's job. As she talked, studio execs were observed leaving. Her face was cut away by the camera. What ought to have been a moment of magic turned into something perilous. She gave birth to her son, Daryl. 2 days later, on April 1, 1955, he was dubbed the Oscar baby by newspapers. In an attempt to capture images of her and the baby, reporters flocked to the hospital. Her family life was suddenly making national news after her acceptance speech had already generated controversy. The infant weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces. The congrats came pouring in. Calls, letters, and telegrams. However, something more sinister was simmering behind the happiness. When Eva Marie Saint opened the package on June 12, 1956, she had no idea that her life was about to collapse. There was a subpoena inside. She was asked to testify by the House Un-American Activities Committee. She was taken aback. Jeffrey Hayden, her husband, was as well. He said that they were caught off guard years later. Eva had no political views. She had never participated in a rally, protest, or group. Her greatest transgression was bringing up workers' rights in her Oscar speech. The previous year, in 1955, she had recently won the Oscar for On the Waterfront. She was the golden girl of Hollywood. Gorgeous, gifted, and experiencing success. She transitioned from television to film with ease. And some thought she would grow up to be one of the greats. Now, however, everything was in jeopardy. Even having communist sympathies could ruin a career in the 1950s, and the timing couldn't have been worse. The industry went cold just as she was getting to the top of her game. 10 days following the subpoena, the situation deteriorated. Her name appeared in red channels, and that 24-page booklet had the capacity to ruin lives. It included 151 individuals who were allegedly connected to communism. A few were real partygoers, others had just spoken out or signed a petition. The list was unconcerned. Everyone in red channels was poisoned to studios and advertisers. Eva's name was now shown. Her remarks about treating employees properly in her Oscar speech were sufficient to put her on the blacklist. Proof wasn't the point here. It has to do with dread. The studios were afraid about the public's reaction. No one wanted their movie or show to be boycotted, and networks didn't want any problems. By 1956, the small volume from 1950 had evolved into the Blacklist Bible. The phone stopped ringing as soon as your name appeared. Meetings were called off. Contracts vanished. Eva Marie Saint was no longer a celebrity but a danger. Then July 31, 1956, arrived. She spent 4 hours in a row, sitting in front of the committee. They were looking for names. They did it every time. They played the game. To bring others down, break one individual. Eva, however, remained intact. She informed them that she did not support communism. Then she mentioned something that they hadn't heard before. "I refuse to take part in destroying careers out of fear and rumors." She lost everything because of that one sentence. The other actors caved. They gave names. Some people sobbed while they worked. Others who cooperated were able to save their careers. However, Eva refused to back down. She was aware of its meaning. She has witnessed the consequences of those who refused to cooperate. Some never returned to work. A few departed the nation. Still, she did it. It was a principle-based decision. However, Hollywood did not honor courage. It was penalized. Her penalty was swift. Studios severed relationships and discontinued projects. At one point, she made $100,000 each movie. She was receiving nothing now. She had earned $7,500 for